go. So we are live. Just bear with us a second or two while we share it along. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Amal, come hang out with us. There we go. It is shared.
Thank you. Share it to a couple of pages. Share it there. Share it. So love speaks love.
Did you know it's the Venus gate? I didn't know there was a Venus gate happening.
When is that?
It's happening now, I guess.
Okay.
Today or something like that. I'm not an astrology person, but the yoga class I was doing it's for the Venus gate. So the Venus energy was like coming in strong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's such a strong connection with Venus.
Yes.
I
I love me some Venusian energy.
I've been feeling Venus like kind of all year, really, but for a few years, like Venus has been very, very prominent to me as a planet, and I don't really think any of the others have that I can recall. It's only been Venus out of all of our, local planets that I've been connecting with.
Yeah. I feel Venus very strongly. In fact, I had a really interesting photographic thing happening with Venus one time in 2020, and I was taking pictures of it because it was so clear, and it like turned into this gold orb. It was incredible. I think I had posted the pictures on my Instagram and I believe to Facebook, but yeah, it was that's when I knew like I started to really feel the Venus energy. And then every time we have a Venus gate or when Venus is in retrograde, I can really, for whatever reason, I can really feel it. Yeah.
So do you know what that means, Venus gate? Do you know what?
It's lined up with the moon right now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, is what's happening. So the energy of it. And apparently it does a star formation. When it moves, how it moves, it does like a pentagram, I guess.
It's kind of like a rose as well, isn't it? It's path over a long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they say it's like the flower of life, don't they?
Yeah. Very simple. Yeah. My friend Jamie's really connected to Venus too, and she's got that straight up, that super strong. I don't know. She's got that like Venusian energy all over the place. I love it.
Okay, so welcome everybody to. I know what I need to do. Just hang on a sec. I might go upside down. Oh, there we go. Which side's the camera there? So welcome to Love Speaks. Love everybody. I am Denise, your host, and I have two guests with me today. Marion Amael Grace, who has been with us before. Welcome again, Marion. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Dharm Randhawa. Welcome to you, sweetheart.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So you two had a bit of a connect through. You've both done Jamye Price's light language course, and so you two, she has like a group with, does the group kind of stay always, so any new people that do the course become part of that group? Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, cool.
It is. I believe it's a private group for just the light language graduates. Yeah. But she's had it going, I think, since like 2016 or something like that group on Facebook, I believe. but yeah, and everybody can share all their stuff, and there's always, new people coming in all the time, and so it's actually, it's not too active though. I've noticed hasn't been that active
No.
in the last year. Yeah, but yeah, that's how I met Dharm, and I actually did a couple codes for him in 2020 actually. So
Yeah.
yeah, and ever
Yeah.
since then, we've been buddies.
As soon as I saw you on Facebook, I felt this familiarity and this just resonance. And I think I sent you a friend request, and it went from there. And we had a couple of sessions, and just this heart connection straight off. It was so powerful, And it's just, yeah, it's just gotten stronger ever since, really.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think maybe, Marion, you'd shared one of my events because you connected with me through, I think it was probably, because this is most of my events, Merlin, Mary Magdalene, and something to do with the rose. So I think that got your attention, Dharm. And then I reached out to you when I was in Glastonbury, because I was trying to remember who was in Glastonbury, because it's always good to meet up with people. And I'd remembered that you had some photos of Glastonbury, so I wasn't sure if you were actually there or if it was just somewhere you liked to visit. So yeah, so we met up in person in Glastonbury on my last April, so that feels like so long ago.
I know.
Mum.
Yeah. And there's a similar thing when I saw you on Facebook after Marion commented on one of your posts. I think it was just this familiar connection straight away, and the Mary Magdalene connection as well, which was so strong for me because I've always had a strong connection with that. And just again, this familiarity with your energy and the heart connection and the soul connection. And yeah, Glastonbury is somewhere I always love to go. It's a home away from home since 2016. When I came here in 2016 for a workshop, it just felt so familiar. There were no kind of fireworks. It was just this resonance, just this feeling of being at home in a way.
Yep, I get that.
Yeah, I don't know if I have been to Glastonbury. It was a long time ago though. It was 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I'm like 20 years older and everything else. But we might have all crossed paths. You never know. When I was over there, I went all over Britain. So it was, yeah. I guarantee we probably somehow, like all of us.
Okay, so normally when we at the beginning of Love Speaks Love, we do a heart-to-heart connect. So I'm gonna get started with that, I think. So I invite us all, not if you're driving, but if you're in a comfortable position to do so, I invite us all to just bring our energy inwards into our hearts. And let us breathe love into our beautiful hearts. And feeling our hearts expand as we focus on their energies and as we bring love into every cell in the heart and into every cell of the body. And on your out breath, you can breathe out love, or you can breathe out any energies of stress, anything that your body may be ready to let go of. And as we breathe love into our beautiful bodies, feeling not only our hearts expand, but feeling our whole energy field expanding. And let us now just breathe love into the rooms that we're in, into the houses that we're in, into the street, the road, the town, into the whole country, neighboring countries, into the seas, into the rivers, the lakes, all of the waters, all of the streams, into all of the plants and the trees, all of the creature beings of the land, the sea, and the air, and into the hearts of every being on the planet, those of inner earth, all the unseen ones that we may feel their presence and know that they're there, all of the elementals, the dragons, the unicorns, the gnomes, the fairies, the elves, the shining ones, and also spreading that love further afield into the galaxy, into the cosmos. And just bringing our awareness back to our heart space and extending that heart awareness out to the heart of Gaia. Feeling our hearts in beautiful, loving connection with the heart of Gaia. And feeling Gaia's love for all of us, her recognition of all of us, and her gratitude for everything that we are and everything that we do. And feeling cocooned in a blanket of love from Gaia. And extending the heart awareness out to the heart of the sun. Feeling that solar connection. Feeling that connection with the solar being, the solar logos. And I'm also drawn, as we've brought in the energy already, to connect our hearts to the heart of Venus. And any other planetary body that you feel to. And connecting our hearts to Prime Creator. And I'm just feeling the star beings, the presence of the star beings. And if you wish to connect to any of your favorite stars, any of the favorite galaxies, star systems, and feeling the presence of all of our multidimensional aspects. And just at this point, just handing over to either you, Marion, or you, Dharm, if there's anything that you wish to add at this point.
It's up to you, Dharm. Do you want to go?
Okay. I just felt the sun coming strongly actually a few moments before you mentioned it, Denise, and Venus also coming into the heart of the earth, into Agartha, and just expanding from there to embody the earth in harmony with the earth. And this pure light, this pure energy of Gaia, the sun, of Venus, of Agartha, just radiating throughout creation itself and connecting with all life throughout all of creation. And then bringing it back to the earth. So there's so much presence here from many dimensions and many realms, all in the name of unity consciousness.
So I'm really feeling the the call to, I'm going to put the forks here on the heart. So just take a breath in. Really expand the diaphragm. Breathe out. And connect into the Earth Star, which is below your feet. It's connecting us to the Earth grid. Allowing the energies of the Earth to come up through the body, up through the central channel. With each breath, bringing up the energy higher and higher into the heart. Allowing the energy to expand from the heart. I see a beautiful gold, peach, kind of green color really expanding from there. Becoming centered and grounded. Connecting to the sun star. Opening up that central channel, the light bridge from the sun star that connects to the central sun. And allowing that energy to pour down in through the body, connecting into the heart, expanding from the heart. And just allowing your field to really fill up with the energy of the earth, of the divine, of the cosmos. Bringing in the star families. Feeling the energy of Venus. Coming into center. And giving gratitude. My hands are sweating.
And I'm very much feeling the presence of Merlin as well. I just wanted to name Merlin and the rose lineage as well, and all the rose beings. I'm kind of been made aware recently of the rose dragons. It almost feels like there's a whole rose realm. Oh, thank you both, that was beautiful. So if your eyes are closed, just opening them when you're ready and just moving your body, rolling your shoulders, wiggling your fingers and toes. And I don't have any water. But if you do
have some of mine.
Oh, thanks. Okay. So Merlin, tell me about your, I know Merlin's very strong for both of you. Tell me a little bit, anything you want to share about how you either first connected with Merlin, yeah, anything at all about Merlin that you want to share, like who he is for you, how he appears to you, whatever.
Do you want to go first, Marion?
You can go first.
Okay. I think it was around 2016 when I came to Glastonbury. That was when the connection for me started, and it hasn't been a permanent connection. It's kind of come and gone. That's kind of the thing with me, really. Some beings come, then they do certain things, whatever needs to be done, then they go. But Merlin has been coming in more strongly, I would say, in the last 2 years or so. His energy has become more pronounced, and it's just a very fatherly presence. It feels very strong presence, it's a strong masculine presence, but it's also a very strong heart energy as well. There's so much love there. And yeah, I just feel his presence is going to be, it's going to be felt more strongly in my life from this point onwards. It feels as though his energy is drawing ever closer.
Yeah, beautiful.
He
I love
feels
that.
very active. Like, I don't know anybody. I mean, you know, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Yeshua. There are many, many beings that a lot of people connect with, but Merlin just seems to be this thread that goes across so many countries, so many people, so many different kinds of people seem to connect with Merlin. He's busy. It's very busy.
Well, when Dharm had wrote that thing about Merlin and Melchizedek, now I don't know a lot about Melchizedek. I've always been very curious, but I felt that they were kind of versions, or like they were very similar to one another, and you know, because even when Dharm writes those things, like I get transported, like I can, because I'm a very visual person as well. I just have a harder time writing it out. But I really felt like they were this really similar in I don't know, like almost like versions of each other. And I could be way off base or maybe on target with that, but I definitely feel that there is some kind of parallel going on there. I don't know if you felt that, Dharm, but I did.
Yeah, when I brought the vision through, I felt it straight away, and then I forgot about it until you mentioned it yourself. But it was my sense as well when it came through that they were one and the same in a way. And I'd never channeled a vision in which the both of them had appeared before, so I'd never made that connection until this last vision. But it was there as soon as it came through. It was just like an instant kind of insight that they kind of one and the same. And then you mentioned it as well, which reflected back to me the same knowing. So I don't know what you think of that, Denise, because you've got a strong connection with Merlin.
It's really interesting. Whether or not Merlin is an actual being or a frequency of energy, like I don't know the answers to those questions anymore. I would have said, you know, like 10 years ago or something, they are beings, they lived on the earth, they ascended, and they're still with us. And now I've got absolutely no idea. Melchizedek I haven't connected with as much as Merlin, but feeling into those energies, there does feel like a correlation, an overlap. I've heard it said before that Merlin is a similar stream to Hermes and Thoth as well. And all of those beings, to me, like their energies feel quite similar. They all seem to have that sacred geometry link, that magi, that magic kind of link. And Thoth I used to connect with a fair bit a number of years ago. And then I wouldn't have said that their energies were that similar, but now I do feel their energies are quite similar. Yeah, and I don't know too much about Melchizedek. I was reading some stuff about the Melchizedek order yesterday. But Merlin to me feels a little bit more attainable almost. He feels a little bit more relatable to me. And I don't know if that's like the Avalon, you know, the Albion, the kind of English link. And I remember when I first started connecting with Merlin, and my Reiki master said, you know, he's quite a hard taskmaster. If you work with Merlin, you have to be prepared to put the work in. Like, not that he's a slave driver or anything, but you know, he kind of doesn't suffer fools gladly. He wants to know that you're genuinely on this path, and you're going to put the, you know, put the effort in, kind of. Yeah, and I don't know if that still stands, because he just seems so everywhere at the moment. And to me, whether or not, because I also have heard that there were actually many Merlins, that there were many magicians, you know, that kind of had that role. It was almost like a title rather than a person. But having said that, I do feel that there is a being that I connect with, but that being could actually be a multitude of beings. But Merlin, I just really love working with Merlin. He's very down to earth, really, and pretty funny. And really anything to do with alchemy, sacred geometry, you know, that kind of turning the lead into gold. Merlin just seems to be the dudes for that, really.
I actually, so when I was a kid, there was a cartoon, and I forget what it was called. Was it where Merlin was in it? And that was my first fascination with Merlin and dragons and Avalon, kind of. And then there was a show called Merlin that was about when he was younger, and so I was always kind of fascinated, but you know, I was fascinated with, you know, I wasn't sure if he was, you know, when I was a kid, I was, you know, it seemed like fantasy, you know, of course. But then there was this other part of me that was like, no, 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 they were really here. And when I actually connected with Merlin, I know that I'd always kind of felt him out on the fringes, but it was your meditation thing that you had sent me, where I think it was the rose. It was the Order of the Rose, or it was one of your group meditations, Denise. I really connected with Merlin in that, and even during so when I do yoga and meditation, because of the breath work, um, certain types of breath work will get me into a certain state, into a certain frequency, and I'm able to close my eyes and focus, you know, my eyes inwardly here. And what happens is I see this, you know, this thing come up, this bubble. It fractalizes, opens up, and then I can see people moving and walking around as if they're in front of me. It looks more like a negative picture. It's not always full blown color, but I saw Merlin, and with the long, like kind of with this like long beard and like with a staff, and I was like, I think you're that. I think you're Merlin, you know. And I saw the woods. He was out in the woods, and I actually remember seeing him one other time where I the portal opened up, and I was laying down on the forest floor, and this wasn't a dream, this wasn't a vision, this was like I went somewhere and I popped into this whole thing, and he was above me, like standing over me, and I was on the floor of the forest, and it was him and a couple other people, and they were doing like some sort of blessing, and they were, you know, he had the staff, and these other people had these like rattle things, and it was very like almost like druid-ish, but not. It was like I remember seeing the trees, and I was just kind of like, I must have been there. It felt like a while, but I think it was probably like nanoseconds. And you know, our time versus their time kind of thing. And so I was very like, I was like, okay, so did I just connect? Did I actually go somewhere? Did I connect to a version of myself that was there? Like, what was happening? I wasn't quite sure, but it was so real. And I managed to stay there longer than like normal. And when the portal closed back up, I just was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, you know, what was that? Who was that? And it was like instantly, it was like, that was Merlin. I'm like, no way. I didn't, you know, this to me, it felt like, you know, a real, like a a person, like a normal person walking around with a soul in their body, kind of thing. And so I feel that there is that frequency. There's like kind of like the Merlin collective frequency. And then I think at some point in time, there probably was, a real being walking the earth. But, that, and if there's been many Merlins, like that makes sense as to why that collective stream is so strong too. So I don't know. I feel like I connected with maybe one version of Merlin, or someone who was in the forest village group that I was a part of that was kind of like a Merlin, but it was definitely kind of that, staff with like, white hair and, long beard and wearing like this, like, kind of like a robe dress thing. It was, and when I remember being so stunned because I was like, what is this? Where am I? And, but I did see a lot of like kind of when in Fantasia when Mickey has the robe on and the hat and he's doing the thing, and I see, and the magic and the air and everything. It was like I kind of also felt that there too as well. So it was a really incredible experience to connect to him that way and to see him over me with these other people. And since then, it's like when I go into those various different places, I've noticed that that's one place I'll go to, and then there's a couple other places that seem to be my mainstays. But that forest, like, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly where it's at, but I think if I ever walked into the energy of it, I would know because I've been there quite a few times. So that was my experience around Merlin, and I loved it. I was like, I want to go back.
Yeah, there's a beautiful fatherly kind of energy, and it's kind of fatherly, but it's not quite fatherly as well. It's and it's, to me, it's that real kind of mentor energy as well. It's that real sharing the wisdom, so knowledgeable about so much, especially that we're going through now, especially that we're kind of all doing now. And there's such a kind of richness, and you can feel the magic, like, when you talk about the forest that you're in, the woods that you're in, I can really feel that energy, really pick up on that energy, and such a strong link to the Fae as well, to the element, like totally in that realm, that there's no separation from that realm. If you've got Merlin, you're going to have a few unicorns, a few dragons, a few fairies, like just, part of his crew just hanging out there as well. And I think anybody doing earth magic, I say this a lot, that anyone who's doing energy work on the land, you'll be connecting with dragons, whether you're conscious of that or not. But I think also Merlin too.
Yeah, it was interesting when you were speaking, Denise. I just had a flash of a vision where Merlin was in the Great Pyramid and there was a stone tablet there, or a stone bed with this emerald green energy, this ball of energy. And he was, because you mentioned Thoth and Hermes, he said they're one and the same, different strands of the same consciousness. And then it's as though a part of Merlin, the earthly aspect, has ascended. And it's just become part of a much bigger consciousness, very galactic. That's what I feel now, very galactic, but still very rooted in the earth. And there are these different strands of consciousness which can come in, or which he can adopt a particular form or an energy. And it's a huge soul energy, it feels to me, the Merlin energy, or the Merlin collective consciousness. Not one thing.
Yeah, it's multiple things. What's interesting too, what comes to mind is, oh my gosh, who was that guy that predicted all those things that everybody, like,
Nostradamus?
if there's a connection to Nostradamus as well, because Nostradamus was, you know, I don't know why that just, I figured I'd share that, because that for some reason I was like,
Yeah.
you know, I wonder if he was somehow a part of that too, that consciousness, or connected into that. And kids, I mean, he was kind of an alchemist himself, but he had to keep everything hidden. And that's why he wrote the way that he wrote, because back then, when he was around, people were executed for things like that. So I don't know why I felt like mentioning that, but that I figured I would, because I feel like they're like, maybe that is like something that he was tapped into with the like into that stream as well, because he was very, very, very connected, very clairvoyant, but also very magical in a sense. So something to trip on for a minute.
I see Merlin giving the thumbs up to that.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I'm feeling the Christ consciousness energy coming in now also, with Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, and it's connected again to this golden pyramid, the Great Pyramid, and it seems to be a very strong portal which these energies can come through to really see the earth with a higher consciousness and a higher light and a higher vibration of love. And I just see Mary and Yeshua walking the earth and putting these petals down, these pink and white and gold petals, just really very soft, and it has such an effect on the hearts of every living thing, whether they're conscious of it or not. I can just sense that it just has a profound effect there, and in turn it just affects the consciousness so much within the body and within the human experience, or whatever experience the life form is in on the earth at this time. This Christ consciousness and this divine feminine Christ consciousness, which is coming through now, it's just so powerful.
I agree. Yeah. When I connected into the gold energy of the Christ consciousness, at the time I didn't know that that's exactly what I was connecting with, but looking back on it now, I did a piece kind of around that, which was Reveal Thyself. And it was interesting because it wasn't actually like, I didn't really intend for it to be necessarily like Yeshua, but and a lot of people, you know, when they saw it, they were like, oh, you know, some people actually didn't like it, because a lot of people have the issue with the whole Jesus, you know, and the church and all that stuff. And I was like, well, it's actually not meant to be Jesus, but this is more about, you know, bringing through Christ consciousness, but it's also, you know, reveal the self. And I recently had somebody talk, they were talking about how Yeshua came to them, and it was in a group channeling or meditation or something like that, and how that the nature of the energy of Jesus or Yeshua is changing, it's evolving, and that it's revealing itself to be a much bigger energy, and, you know, it's much bigger energy, and kind of the label or the name that it's been given is falling away. And it, all of a sudden it was like, you know, here, you know, 3 years later, my piece that I did made total sense to me. And she even said something about like the sacred geometry that was coming in around that particular consciousness that they were communicating with, or, you know, stream that they were communicating with. And I was like, interestingly enough, I actually have a Sri Yantra in front of, he's holding the Sri Yantra. And I was able to read my code. A new layer had revealed itself to me. I was like, whoa. And I'm like, okay, I have to share this with you all. I need to read my piece. And I went line by line, and I did a whole entire transmission. And I did not expect that. It was almost a different dialect that came through, different vowels, whole different energy. But when I was done, it was like I felt like I had ran a marathon almost. And it was a very powerful stream of information. And so I feel that energy, the Christ consciousness energy, is I don't know, maybe because there's enough people kind of communicating with that or tapping into that energy, kind of like the Merlin energy. The more people that are getting connected with it, the bigger that it is, it's growing. So yeah, it was a really that's been my recent and that just happened last week is when that piece revealed itself even more to me. I was like, when I did it, I didn't really like I didn't I knew why, like I knew I needed to create it, but I wasn't 100% sure why, but I knew that it would make sense later, which is why I keep all my pieces, because they always evolve and grow and have deeper meaning. And apparently I was ready for the other layer of it. So yeah, it was a really incredible experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I resonate with what you say there. That's really interesting. And that kind of makes sense as well, that we've only had like a snippet of what the energy is, and that the more that we are present with it, the more that we connect with it, the more of it that we kind of tap into.
Yeah.
And I think
Yes.
I found
No,
go
sorry,
on.
go on, Denise.
I was just going to say, I found it interesting when I was being drawn to do so many events, so many workshops where it was Mary Magdalene and Merlin, and they were like the male female presences and not Yeshua. Like, you know, I'm sure Yeshua was there, but I just found it really interesting. And I was like, at first I was like, not that I wasn't sure about it, but I kind of had to feel into it. And I thought, that really works. You know, it's not necessarily the pairing that you might first think of, but it really, really works. It really works well, those two together. And who knows if, you know, if their energies actually met. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Dharm?
It was about the Christ consciousness evolving, and it's as though he played a particular role until the consciousness of humanity or life on earth was at a certain level, and now that's rising. It's as though it's freed him or freed that consciousness to go into another level. So everything is kind of opening up for everyone, really, not just human beings on earth. As we open up to a higher level of consciousness or a greater heart connection, so to everything else in creation kind of steps up another layer or expands another layer.
Yeah. I've been, you know, what's interesting for me right now is I've been tapping into, so we have all these different, you know, representations of, you know, like Mary Magdalene, Venus, Merlin, we have all these different things. And what I've actually been feeling is the main, it's almost like I want to say the main vein, like of, yes, it's the main, like the main line of energy, and it comes up and it has all these different roles that it plays almost, right? Like we have, you know, all these different streams kind of streaming off the main line. And I've been feeling that main line, like I've been feeling that underlining current that is there. And it's like being able to like kind of see, like, from, I don't know how to explain it. It's like feeling that main line, but then feeling the parts that are expressing itself as different energies and different deities, or different, you know, whatever, ascended masters, or, you know, whatever. And it's been beautiful to feel that connection back into a source that is projecting, that's got that main line, and seeing all these different, you know, versions and these different splits of experiences, and even tapping into the consciousness streams, the different various consciousness streams, being able to not only feel the different streams coming in, but to see that they are all connected. It's like, it's, you know, there's all these branches that go out, but then there's the main trunk of the tree. And then even from the tree, there's roots that grow out, right? So it's, I've been able to really feel that connectedness of how everything all comes down into this main line, and that how beautiful it is that those energies want, you know, just from that main line wants to express itself in all these different ways. And so I've been really tapping into that. And so it's been like, yes, you know, the Christ consciousness, or even like, let's say like Tesla consciousness, or all these different streams, but being able to feel into, and it's almost overwhelming at times because it's, there are no words there. It's just purely energy for me. And I almost can't even fathom the eternity of it, if that makes sense. It feels so vast and so like never ending. And but now I understand why these different things shoot off from it, because the main line itself is like, oh wow, it's so big. So it's almost better that it expresses itself in these different streams of consciousness. So I don't know if I sound crazy or not, but but that's been my experience lately.
No, you expressed that really well. I really, yeah, I get that.
Okay, good. Yeah, what are all your thoughts on that? I don't know. Like, I'd love to hear, Dharm. What are you? Because I can feel that you're getting something.
Well, just as you were speaking, I just felt the energy of Agatha come up, something to do with that connection you were speaking of. And when you mentioned the main roots, it was as though this energy from Agatha was starting to rise from the earth very powerfully. And I can just see it visually as this pink light of unconditional love just flowing through the main vein and through the tributaries and the branches and the roots and everything. It's as though it's something, it's an energy or a consciousness or a dimension which is very, which wants to announce itself through the heart center of the collective on earth. And I just feel this energy rising. And it's very connected to, as you said, that main vein, that main root, that main stream of consciousness. It's very connected to that. It just wants to flow in every form and in every direction on the earth. It's as though the more we talk about it, the more people with a similar vibration connect and speak about certain things. It brings it more into a reality. And just the fact that we are talking now is bringing it more into physical reality. This possibility and this potential of this energy which is there deep within the earth, which is starting to rise now, this vibration and consciousness of love, is just more and more available now to us and for us as a collective and as a species to tap into. And I just see the beings in the Agatha just bowing to you, Marion, for bringing that that thread through. It's very sacred to them, and your words are very sacred to them.
Yeah. Oh, I just got goose. Yeah. I mean, not that you know. I feel that, you know, we need these for people on the path, depending where they're on their path. There's certain things that we, in order to find out about certain things, you have to start somewhere. And for me, it's not that I don't think any of these you know, specific, like, you know, icons or constructs or whatever are going away. But for me, it's all beginning to kind of fade away and come into the one and into the all. And that's not, I mean, for me, that's not where I started. I needed to see this, like, almost a separateness, right? I needed to experience these things kind of separately and individually. And so I feel that a lot of us, like, because we kind of are these, you know, paving the way, right? Opening up the lines of information, allowing, you know, once you get one on board, and then you kind of, you know, another person, in order to hold that stream of energy, to be able to bring it here, or to just be able to open those, or it's not even bringing it here, it already is here. It's just being able to see it, right? It's just being able to reveal more of the layers. And I've definitely been, since I was a kid, on this, like, this path of searching, because I was a seeker, I was a searcher, you know, and even as a kid, I was always very curious about, you know, beliefs and religion and spirituality and, you know, all these things. And so I feel like I've been on this like little mini quest, like my entire life, to search at the beginning of the beginning. And lately where my consciousness has been going is into that mainstream. And when I first connected with a source, I don't know if it was the source, but a source, that was in 2000, maybe 2019. And when I went there, it was silence. And it was so big and massive that it kind of freaked me out. And I was like, you have to make yourself smaller. And because you're freaking me out, you're too big. And it shrunk itself down. But I have this thing of large objects. I'm not really sure where that comes from. And I could only get there for seconds at a time. It was like I kept having to go up and then come back down, and then go up and then come back down. And I feel like a lot of us are kind of on that journey of like seeing, you know, bringing in or revealing that energy. So it becomes, you know, because these new kids that are here, they're already tapped in like that. I think they're already there, but the rest of us kind of need to catch up. So you know, some of us have been kind of on the forefront of that, and bringing, you know, like letting others connect. So I love sharing this stuff with everyone, because I feel like we've all had those experiences. It's just sometimes we're not 100% consciously aware of that. And then when you talk about it, it opens up a whole new thing. You're like, wait a minute. Oh, hold on a second. And you start, you know, connecting the dots. So, yeah, I really feel I'm beginning to really see the omnipresence of all these different Mary Magdalene, Merlin, you know, like how they're everywhere. And if you need it to be one thing, you have that choice, and there's nothing wrong with it needing to be that one thing. I feel like they all can encompass so much. It's whatever you need in that moment. And if you choose to give it a label or a name, absolutely, whatever it is that needs to come through for you, so you can, you know, expand and grow or feel supported. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And it's like there's less differential now, there's less separation between them. And I was thinking back to when I first connected with Merlin, it's a long time ago, it's almost 20 years ago, and how his energy feels very different to me now. It feels, but my energy is really different. So I'm going to be feeling different aspects of his energy. And it takes me back to what we were saying before about Melchizedek and Merlin, that maybe we're more tuned into the overlaps than the separation than we used to be, which probably reflects where we are as humans in our kind of evolutionary process as well, that we are less in that space of separation and more in that place of unity. And as you say, they all come from there's a joining point where they all come from. So they are also very connected and kind of the same.
Yeah. Yeah, and just seeing as our heart centers open more and more, and our consciousness expands, our awareness of truth, really, and of what we are in truth, we recognize more and more that it's just the one source, the one light expressing through as everything. There's no differentiation, really. I know the form appears different, but the light is the same light in everything. And it takes different forms, different strands of consciousness, different dimensions, different roles, different role play. It's just like a glove in which light is entered, and it's playing all these different fingers, these different digits, but it's the same light. There's not two, it's just the one light, the one source. It's playing so many roles, and such an amazing expression of creation, really.
Yeah.
And for me, it's all about coming back to the heart center, embodying the heart energy and coming from here. And we naturally feel the oneness then of everything and the unity of everything.
So what comes to me now is that within the body, because the body, if you look to nature, right, for the answers to everything, look into the body, how like the body expresses itself even internally. It's like we have an entire universe within us, right? It's like source is like our human heart. That's what we, first, well, we have to breathe, but we also need a heart, right, to pump the blood and everything, so we continue to go. I really feel that is where, like, if we want to know where source is, it is in the heart, because that is the main, that's the main vein, right? Like that's the connection to it. So it makes sense to me that, really why the heart chakra or that energy center is so important, and why even that physical organ is so important to take care of, because without a heartbeat for us in these vessels, we're not, without the heart and without the lungs, we're not going anywhere. And isn't it interesting how the heart, even though the heart has two chambers, a couple things, but in the lungs have the roots, right? Like, I don't know, there's something there with the, the heart being the main thing, and then it's got the two, the divine feminine, the divine masculine, and then the roots, the lungs. I mean, I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that out there, because I feel that if we want to know the universe, if we want to know source, that's why everybody keeps talking about going within, right? Go in, go in, go in, because we are the answer. It is there. And to me, when I asked about, I asked a question of what was the question? The question was, what is a soul? And because periodically I'll just ask random questions to myself. And what I heard was a sonic reverberation. And I was like, what is that? So I had to look it up. And that it made sense, because in the beginning was frequency and sound. And when I asked, like, how, like, okay, so what was the beginning of the beginning for what created us, and it was, I got the word impetuous, which I think it's impetuous, which I had to look that up because I had like no idea what that was. That was basically something kind of happening very fast. And so I got the image that this thing, came into creation, and it was by itself, and it got kind of bored, and it wanted to experience some stuff. And so then it started kind of randomly throwing things out. And that was as far as I got, is the information. It was kind of like, okay, so that's a real, like, the lay person's, explanation of, that or whatever. But and then that's when I asked, what is the soul then, and it was this sonic reverberation, and which is, basically sound fractalizing or something. I don't know, you could all look it up. I forget what the exact the exact thing was, but it made sense when I looked up the definition of it. I was like, oh, when people talk about we are just, a fractal, or we're just these little refractions on a big shiny diamond, we're just these like little facets, of source, or of, whatever it is that created however we got here, and that we are those little tiny little reflections of it. So it kind of made sense to me. So I thought I'd share that with you all too, because that was such like a profound thing. I was like, huh. But I get words all the time that I have, and I'm really bad at spelling. I'm spell phonetically, so of course, I'm having to like I put it in there phonetically, and Google's always telling me I'm wrong. So.
That word sonic reverberation just feels so right to me. I can feel it in my body, as though that vibration it's not just going out, it's coming back as well. It's a two-way flow continually throughout eternity. And what you said about going within the universe within, sometimes there's a lot of talk about solar flares at the moment because the sun is really ramping up its activity. And I often feel it within my body first before I read about it. It's as though I can feel the sun within my body bursting through the skin. And I know that then that there's no separation really at all, that our bodies contain everything. There is no separation on any level. And I remember one particular thing in 2018, I was like, just lay down to sleep. And this was when there was a lot of talk about Earth transforming into crystalline form and the human body transforming into crystalline form. And I closed my eyes and I could feel all these crystals like ruby red and emerald green and purple just pushing through my body. And I knew there was no separation. It was also happening within the earth as well. So what you said about looking within and the universe within the body, that feels totally right to me as well because of my own experience.
Beautiful.
The universe within every cell.
Yeah.
Like how freaky is that? And with star maps too, the whole of the star systems out there are mapped within our bodies. And I wrote, when you said that the soul is a sonic reverberation, I got the words ripple of source sound, because it's like a ripple, that reverberation it's kind of like an echo, isn't it? But I see that in terms of sound as like ripples. When somebody tagged me in a post of the frog in the water, and the frog makes its like sound, however frogs make their sound, and the ripples, it's sitting in water, and from this sound, it's not moving really, like only to make the sound, but the ripples are going out. Like you can see how that sound is like rippling through the waters. And that was the image that I got when you said a sonic reverberation. And it, when the ripples hit the sides, they start to go back as well. So I love that image. And the solar flares, it kind of, I don't know if there will be one solar flare, but it kind of feels like it's already happening. If you're looking like these extensive, these really strong solar flares that we've been having, like, what do they call them? X flares or whatever. Like we've been getting so many more. And we're judging that by Earth time, by days and weeks in Earth time. But in some time, that's only, a month in some time is only this. Like if you're a mouse, everything is really fast because of the size that you are. So our planet compared to the sun, our planet is much faster. I see it as the sun. So, a month in Earth time is probably less than a day in some time. I don't know if I'm making sense there, but yeah, and I'm not sure if there will be, like, it just seems like it's already happening, and that if we look back, we could see it as one kind of flare, one flash. But in our human terms, it feels like it's many, but it kind of feels like it's one, really, to me. Don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so when I connected with the sun, so I'm the same way. I'm very affected. I'm not affected by the moon. The sun, I can feel the sun a lot. And what's interesting is I remember feeling, flares and all that stuff for a long time. And now And I remember, you know, you couldn't even look it up to try to find out, you know, any of that information. Now all of a sudden, you know, NASA and everyone else has got information on these solar flares that are happening, which I just find really interesting, that all of a sudden now it's like out kind of more so in the mainstream. It's like, interesting, you know. And I wonder what they have planned, because there's always a plan when they start talking about something all the time. There's a plan. And but when I connected to the sun, so what I saw to this sun was, I saw that that is an outer shell, that there is something inside of it.
Mhm.
And that it's, so those flares, the stuff, it's, I didn't get the sense that that we were going to have, at least not on this timeline, that we were going to have a massive flash or anything like that. But when I did travel a couple days ago, when it opened up, I went somewhere where I was standing in the middle of a street looking up, and I did see the sun flash really big, because I was like, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? And I heard myself say, you're on a different timeline. And the flash, you know, there was a flash. It's already happened. And I'm like, okay, but does that mean it's going to happen here? And then I was pulled back, and it was like, okay, that didn't really answer my question, you know, but other than where, you know, what was I witnessing and what time? And it was, you know, I got that I have already witnessed that some other time. And the flares, to me, when I tuned the sun, I actually did a tuning on it. It's more of like, it's really old, and it's like kind of, it's transforming itself or something, but it's been around for so long that it is, it's old. It's just having some creaks and groans, I guess, kind of. That's kind of was what the feeling that I got was like, it's just doing its thing, and it's done it before. But the last time it really did something massive, it was much more than a flash, and it did affect one. I don't know if it affected this version of Earth or another version of Earth, but this isn't the first time it's ramped up like this. But this is, from what I understood, is a normal cycle. But we're experiencing it in order, like some of us that are very sensitive, to kind of regulate it, I guess, so it's not so, you know, so it doesn't affect everyone so much anymore. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of like, we're trying to stabilize the energy, is what it felt like.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, that the cosmic energies are channeled to the earth a lot through the sun, not just, I think, but a lot through the sun. And then those of us that have put our hand up to do it are anchoring those energies into Gaia, like we are like lightning rods. Because it kind of, without us, it would still happen. And I mean, obviously you've got the trees that are doing that too. But with humans doing it particularly, and it must be all the animals, all the beings that are doing it. But we probably are benefiting from those energies more than others. It's kind of like we're needing those energies to bring us into more of alignment with all the rest of the beings on the planet. And what one of you was saying, I can't remember which one of you it was that mentioned the earth energies. I think it was you, Marion, that was saying about the earth energies coming up. And it's like it's a twofold thing. You have got the cosmic energies and the solar energies coming in through your crown, going into the earth, but you've also got Gaia energies coming up into our bodies. And as you know, I've been spending quite a bit of time in a tent, sleeping beneath those 4 cedar trees. And what I absolutely love is that at dawn, when the birds start to sing, it's like changes the energy that's coming up from Gaia. That there is something between the singing of the birds and the tones that they're creating, the sun coming up, and it kind of brings a fresh energy every day. And you can feel it coming up. It seems particularly potent at sunrise, whether it's because I'm more in that in-between space, because it's early, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning that they start. So I'm still very much in dream time. So maybe I'm more sensitive to the energies, but I don't think it's just that. I feel that there is some kind of shift that happens after that in-between time that really brings in a fresh, and that every day it's subtly different as well.
Yeah, it's interesting when you said about a lot of the spiritual energies coming through the sun onto the earth. And then you said about the energies coming from the earth as well, because I could see the inner sun in the earth as well. There's an inner sun in the heart of the earth, which is pumping the same energy or light codes, slightly different light codes, but it's, like you said, a two-way process. And also there's an inner sun within our heart center as well, or within our being, which is coming through the heart center. So it's as though you have the energy from the top and from the bottom, but also through our heart centers. It's as though the two merge within our hearts and push it out this way.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, everybody's so busy trying to connect to other magical things when we are the magic. I mean, we have, to me, we have it all inside of us. Like, and we get to walk around here and kind of, we have this, this, I guess, free will. Some people don't agree with that. And maybe on some level we don't, maybe on some level we do. But like, I think that's why we fought to come down. Some of us fought to get down here. We had to like wait in line and like cut in line, to get down here. And then that's why for me, I've been really grounding into being human, because it's so freaking precious and it's gone like that. It's so, and the fact that we can connect to the inner earth, connect to that sun, connect to the central sun. I mean, we can connect to all these things. I mean, the possibilities are really limitless. And I mean, I've been doing with the tuning forks, I've been having fun tuning the earth, tuning the sun. I mean, the fact that like I can just have fun doing that. And I mean, it may be doing something, it might not be doing something. I know I'm not doing any harm, but it's just that thought that like we get to play like that. We get to do that. We get to connect to these things. We get to be in this experience, and it's not fun for everyone. I understand that. And it certainly wasn't fun for me for a long time. But now I feel like it's more important for us to really anchor into being here instead of trying to be other places, and tap into what's here, because the earth itself is so freaking magical. It's just amazing. And like nature and the way things grow. I mean, I all the time have to stop myself and like, go, wow, that's so weird. You just have to, you realize when I become the observer of myself and I look at myself, and I'll have those moments of like, what you're doing is really strange, but really cool. And then it's like, oh yeah, but this is what we do. So I think it's, yeah.
That's a big resonance for me, because I spent so much of my earlier life trying to escape the human experience. And the last few years, I just wanted to get more and more into the body, just to embody the heart energy and the whole experience, and not to run away from any emotion, any thought, any feeling, but just to experience total freedom despite the circumstances. And I think that comes with the acceptance, doesn't it? When you accept, well, I'm here, I'm in this body, whatever's going to come is going to come, whatever's going to go is going to go. But I'm here just to experience everything, not to run away from anything or deny or suppress anything. And I remember I had a reading a few years ago, it must have been maybe 2013, 14, and the reading was spot on for me, because the lady said in the reading, she said, if anybody tells you you're here for ascending, myself personally, she said, run a mile, because you're here to descend. You're here to descend fully into the human experience. And that was so true for me, because it felt so right for me. It's not true for everyone, I understand that, but for me personally, it's so right that I've just got to come back more fully into the body and experience everything which is here to be experienced, and not need to escape this reality or experience.
I like that. Yeah, my friend had a descension, she calls it descension as well. Not an ascension, but a descension. And I kind of feel like hers was really pretty, and like very a lot for her. For me, I feel like it's been kind of this slower, thing. But I don't know. This last year, it's like I really want to be here, even though at times I get really frustrated with things, and I think things are really stupid sometimes. But I love the fact that I can be in this body and explore and the concepts that want to explore and ask the questions. That's the thing. I feel that everything that I'm asking myself here, whenever I cease to be in this body, because I ask those questions here, whatever does it, didn't see the answer or didn't, wasn't paying attention, all of that's going to get answered when I get over there. I'm banking on that. I'm like, don't forget.
And if it doesn't, you'll probably have forgotten what the questions were anyway. It's fine. There seems to be so much more appreciation of being human these days. I feel that, and I'm not saying that it's not hard sometimes, but even in the hardness, there's an appreciation of, oh, this is what blah blah whatever it is feels like. Oh, okay, and not trying to push it away, but just being in it and being present with it. And I'm so with you both in just wanting to be more in the body, just wanting to feel it all, really, whatever it is, not trying to push it away, but so much more appreciation of what it is to be human. And the energies that are coming through at the moment are off the charts. We say this all the time. I could probably say it in every Love Speaks Love. Wow, the energies are strong at the moment, aren't they? And there's no let up from it, but I love that feeling. So often, so many times that I'm just about to get into bed and my whole body is buzzing, and I remember when I felt something similar to that in about 2011, I'm like, what's going on in my legs? Like, why are they buzzing so much? Almost like they're rumbling. And now it's your whole body. It's everything. You can feel that everything is just going like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing.
That to me is because technically nothing or everything is moving all the time, right? And so when we get, I think that's just us like coming into that sensitivity of and also certain waves do that to me. Like all of a sudden I'll be sitting on the couch and I have the internal earthquake. It's like I'm like, hey, do we just have an earthquake or was it me? I think I'm the only one experiencing it. But yeah, I remember, that's the thing is I remember when I first started feeling these things, at first it was kind of, freaked me out a little bit, but then now I've gotten so used to it that I just get this sense that everything that's happened to me while I've been here, I really want to feel into all of it, because either wherever I was before or where I'm going afterwards, I feel that I may or may not get to remember all this, and I really just want to experience it. Or maybe I didn't get to experience it wherever I was before, and maybe it's been a long time since I've been here, and so that's why I'm really like, oh yeah, I seem to remember this somehow, somewhere, and I mean, I've had a ton of crazy experiences, like stuff that some of it I don't talk about because it's so far out there, and every moment of it, some of it's been terrifying, some of it's been amazing, and I just like love it because it's so weird, you know, and I'm like, that is really cool. Like, you know, even when it's been not so fun, even when I've had some experiences that were definitely like, you know, I woke up, flipping something off and telling it to get away from me, you know, but even then I was like, you know what, I can appreciate the fact that I was really angry enough to wake myself up and yell at something and give it the middle finger. Like, yeah.
I remember a
I'm
couple of years back. Sorry,
go on.
Denise, go on.
No, you go.
I remember a couple of years back when that comet, was it Leo something? That
Oh,
comet
yeah.
which Leo, or well, I don't know the name of it now, but it was traveling at 144,000 miles per second or hour. And it had some kind of energy or some kind of impact on me where it just returned me to that state of innocence where when we are childlike, where we just wonder about everything and we see this as something new again, because it's so easy within the human experience to get weighed down by duty and responsibility and routine. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's easy to forget the magic which is here, which is already here. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just we become conditioned to not see it.
Yeah.
But that comment had something in it, or some energy, or some consciousness, which really triggered something in me and just reconnected me with that innocence again and that recognition that we don't have to go anywhere. It's already here. Everything is already here. It's just a change of perspective. And when we change our perspective, something can shift really dramatically in our body, in our being, in our existence, really.
There was a comet Leonard last year. Might have been that one.
Oh.
I think it was one before that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one it was. But I think it was traveling 144,000 miles an hour or a second. And the 144 kind of made an impact on me, you know?
Yeah, I think I remember was that the one that was like, was it the cigar shaped looking one?
I think so. I think so.
That's right. I do
Yeah.
remember that. And I think was that in 2019?
I think it was. I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
There was a lot happening in 2019. So this is what's really weird. There was a lot that happened in 2018 and 19 that I swear, like I already experienced a lot of what people are now talking about. Like people are like,
Yeah.
oh, because there's another comment too, and then there's some other things that have been happening where I'm like, didn't we already go through this in 2018 and 2019? Like, I don't know if you guys have been feeling that too, but I feel like Groundhog's Day a little bit right now. Been feeling that a lot lately, and I'm like, didn't we already experience this? Like, why is this coming up again? So yeah, I've been having that a lot lately, and it's not even a deja vu.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, but how come I'm going through this again? I don't understand why I'm seeing this again. Because I think there's a couple of comets right now um, that are hanging out. One's actually due to pass by, I think, either in the next like week or so. So it'll be interesting. I think every time they come near us, depending on where they're coming from, they kind of seed something through, if you watch the newest Star Trek, which is Worlds, Other Worlds, I think it's called. It's the newest Star Trek series. There's a really fascinating episode 2, where this comet is flying through the air and they see it and they try to stop it. Well, it's actually a being, and it's in an egg shape in the middle of this comet, and it's coded, and it communicates through sound, through music, and certain tones. It's alive, and these custodians are watching it because it's making its way across the galaxy. And the Star Trek group, Starfleet, they want to stop it, and because they think it's gonna destroy this planet, and the custodians are like, you can't get in its way. It has a plan, and it turns out like this thing like sets up this, like, you know, the way they try to intervene and the way they interact with it. So it ends up skimming across the planet, but it seeds the planet so the planet can. It's how they terraform. This thing terraforms planets, and it cut through the atmosphere of it and allowed the planet to have you know, water and, you know, greenery, but it also, you know, sprinkled knowledge. It's you gotta watch it because it's kind of this little nugget of like, it's fascinating. I'm telling you, it's good. It's good.
That one sounds amazing, and I love that it's releasing it through sound.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the way they because they didn't know how to communicate with it, and so they were using math. But then it turned out the math needed to have sound, and so the way that they did it was through math and sound, but it was through singing. And so she starts singing to it, these like toning, and it comes alive and it opens up and it does this whole. Yeah, you got to watch it. That's really good. I get so excited about these things.
I'm getting quite teary talking about that. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Awesome.
So, are we feeling nearly complete? Do we want to bring any light language in at all?
I'm down for a transmission. What about you, Dharm?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Awesome.
Do you want to start, Marion?
Sure.
Thank you.
Let's see. Let's what do I want to tap into here? So I kind of want to bring through what I've been feeling. What I felt is a stream of consciousness of myself that has existed in the Venus planet, Venus stream, but also a little bit of a connection to that source, that main vein. So I kind of so just dropping into the body, breathing in that prana. Vidya allur ma shahivan arwan tatar hurundi kir vasta ashwali tireshtin makana vidre urmati avin vatu sha'ar vali trawani fatarhum vad istura it ishwai valu hum arni tashu vani ihtua vani it ahitush ev arhatu anit awat alushushi diriviti shunkum arsh di deland evis Varhuami vanita arvan kumba, vastush arni hermut uva. Wati derveni hervana, avanu ush eve, vanit duma stum vineti va alukum va ashwati. Harni turmit iwasta arwaish, dira anarvalo ama, vit ashur, nika anati erashi. Dini hermut wava ni kumma ar, chu rimiti riviti rishuat inimeva. Van olon Roma, va astervedi urmeti gevent ush avi. Juvenit asta, do anveti emat la astush. Ormenia cava, muole eshe, varienar, watele dieta ashuani kim, diatua fasta di eshua. Vala star, urmidia, maniatur makiarata shua. Oh, vale tushmi vat vat dur asterivere, vat ormati here. Wiggle that around in the neck a little bit.
I felt so much joy with that, and so much light and so much love just coming into the heart center. That was really beautiful, Marion. Thank you.
My pleasure.
It feels as though the light language which wants to come through me is coming. I see the sun straight away in my heart and also Venus. And it feels as though it's about the embodiment of our multi-dimensional aspects and our soul aspects within our heart. Sha pori kiti moshi salatarato. Apo patira masoko shipa salata. Samorati sata shila pasara. Saka mori sitiliti. Papara toshi misiliti papa. Shako moti pasatilita. Ramako si moshini sipo shipa salata. Apo poponoti. Si shopo satalatira. Ramata kaposhi pasatala. Sho mo momuri. Shaka salata. Sho po poshitipa. Sha salatata. O natata spitikoshi potosi. Sa mo salati sarata. O poshnika salatu shipo. Ha poshni salatato.
Beautiful. Still feeling that heart resonance and throat as well. I feel I'm doing a lot around the throat. You can't see because my camera's not going that low, but yeah, just feeling the solar plexus. I'm going to start there. Kika parana kika torn to ator tikito. Halabakara tikita paratikudora tikudumia a. Kika kato put ora tikita and to paratiki. Ushtaranda ke. Harandakata arndike paratiku. Alakata pambai wist oist. Hullekia tunda artukum. Balakia to kista. Ekileki paratikiti tikista. Na baranaki ke. Huleki harano wita. Malebeki paratikitur. Mabelehepo nistata. Uho laki paratikiti. And I'm going to be here to put a carrot to go or to get Leki Haranakate, oh, Uleki Pornake Kakat ut Oist, Holeki Hana tata, Holeki Hana Barataka Uyist, Ola Baranakitato on da at Mahe Elekiana I ito Oist, Halaki miesta. Oleki harut mehi oleki hantara tikuto ontara tikiti I tata or tikita kulesta hanaki or nakata para tikiti ke protikuto oleliana tata
Beautiful. Felt a lot of that in my third eye, and then with Dharms, I felt a lot of this, like it was almost like these like pieces being like kind of being put together. It was really cool.
I felt so much of Merlin with Denise just now. It was as though he placed the staff along my spinal column, along the chakras, and he brought in the elementals and the dragons and the fays. And like you said, the third eye as well, I could see him there just peeling away a layer. And I could see like a dragon eye just looking out.
Yeah, I'd quite like to see that again with my eyes open. Because it felt really yeah, even when there's just one person speaking, all three of us are, we're all transmitting codes too. Yeah, that was really beautiful. And so much with the geometries as well. And, you know, sometimes I'm like, I'm doing things and I'm kind of seeing shapes, and I'm seeing, because I might be drawing a line like this, but I know that it's not just there, that it's kind of a three-dimensional thing. And sometimes I get like an image of what's just been created, not always. But even though your eyes are closed, it's like you, yeah, seeing what's going on.
I love it. Yeah. I get that too, where you can see the, like, kind of everything that you just put together. And it's like, it's very, that sacred geometry. And then you realize that too, like a lot of that for me, when I've seen it, it's like, I'm looking at the fabric of reality almost. Like it's like we just wove something into the tapestry. Yeah. Beautiful.
And it is like a template, isn't it? It's like a yeah, like a template that we're putting in that then goes, takes greater form.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Anything else anybody wishes to say before we close, Dharm? Anything else that you want to add in there?
Just something which came through as you were speaking then, Denise. It was just the words were coming through in the images of female forms, and the words were the divine feminine Christ is here and she's here to stay. And just those words, it was as simple as that. It's as though she's here, she's fully anchored here within the heart of everything, and she's not going anywhere. She's just going to announce her presence more and more and guide us and lead us into the next stage of our evolution.
Beautiful. Just letting that sink in. Thank you. And thank you for your light language as well.
Thank you, Denise.
And thank you, Marion. We've shared light language a lot before, but that's our first time, Dharm, so thank you.
Yeah. I loved it. I've never heard Dharm speak light language.
I tend to shy away from it normally, but today feels just so, the container and the space feels so safe, welcoming, and so opportunist. It feels the right time. So thank you both so much for this opportunity and this experience. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yay. I'm just so glad that you came on. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, when I put it out there, I was like, will you want to? Because I know that you know, you put out, and I meant to say this and I haven't done it yet, you put out amazing posts, you know, the images that you put in, the paintings that you're doing as well, but the photographs as well that you've been putting on, like the whole thing. And that was, you know, why I wanted to connect with you in Glastonbury, because they're such powerful posts. And I feel you've been very much in support. Like, you know, some of us have kind of stepped out to be seen publicly a little bit more, but I've really felt your support in the back, and it's so strong. It's such a strong pillar of light and heart. So I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful to you for maybe, I don't know if it's out of your comfort zone or not, but for doing this with us today. Thank you.
Yeah, my mind freaked out when you sent the request initially, but something within me, something far greater than the mind, just knew it was the right time, and it feels as though it's the time to step out of my own shadows and step more into my own light. So I really appreciate the opportunity and the invitation, and it's beautiful to connect with both of you in this way. It's just such a joy for me. So thank you so much.
Yeah. I love it.
And thank you to everybody who's been with us on the live too. And thank you to everybody who is going to be with us on the replays and on YouTube. In a Piece with Denise, my new one, Heart for Living with Denise. And if anyone feels to share this share this along, that is always really appreciated. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Dharm. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Marion. Thank you, everybody else who's been with us.
Yes.
Love, love, love.